Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. So I've had this idea for a while of doing a track comparison across different titles and different platforms, and now we have PCs and PlayStation 5s and wheels. It felt like the best time to do it. So let's go through the games first before we actually get into the video. beamng started off as a crash slash physics simulator, I guess. But actually, with every update, the game just gets better and better, and the racing side of beamng is really good. Everybody knows what Gran Turismo is. This needs no introduction. I'm sure a lot of people grew up playing Gran Turismo, early Gran Turismos, whereas I didn't. I went into um, racing games like Gran Turismo growing up. I would play more Need for Speed and stuff like this, but I kind of wish I did now. As I've grown up, I've started to prefer the more realistic style of driving rather than the arcade style of driving. And Assetto Corsa is, OG PC simulator. It's been around for like 10 years. Um, Same, probably needs no introduction. Compared to these other two games, I know you can get a ton of mods for Assetto Corsa to bring it up to date graphically, but in the standard version that I'm basically using, I think I have Sol on or installed, but I don't know if it's active. Like, I just turned the game on and I just played it. But compared to these other two, it's kind of looking washed out and it looks a bit dated. But into the video then. The start line for Assetto Corsa is out of the first bend around the barrier. But the start line for the other two is further down where you would come out of the pits and enter the track. So I didn't start each video at the start line. I started them so that they would all be on the track at the same time. They all hit the first corner at the same time. But we'll just get into it and we'll see what happens. So as you can see, coming up to this first corner, they all hit that apex at pretty much exactly the same time. And while playing it, while playing all three of them, I don't know if it's like the FOV thing, but beamng looks and feels faster. But then if we watch the speedos compared with beamng and Gran Turismo on the straights, they're roughly hitting around the same speeds. Whereas Assetto Corsa is a little bit further behind. Another thing to note as well, on beamng, I only had it in sport mode, so it has comfort, sport, and traction off. Gran Turismo, I had the traction on 1, and Assetto Corsa doesn't have any traction control on this car. So Assetto Corsa is a bit more loose compared to the other two. So if you look here on beamng and Gran Turismo, as we come up to the end of this straight, pretty sure they both hit around 164. Yeah, 164. Pretty much the same on both of them. Whereas Assetto Corsa was a little bit behind. And Gran Turismo is already pulling away in front. I know we can't really say, Gran Turismo is pulling away. These cars are... The beamng car is a mod. The beamng track is a mod. So, like, it can only be... Like, they can only be so similar when the Gran Turismo M4 is made by $1 million company. Assetto Corsa, considered one of the greatest racing simulators there is. beamng, some modded map with a modded vehicle. Like, this was my original thing that I wanted to test. How does the modded map and a modded vehicle compare with such a high polished game like Gran Turismo. And of course with BeamNG, because of the crash physics, you've got to be so careful running these laps. Oh, back to the tyres as well. So on Gran Turismo, I think we was using Sports medium. On Assetto Corsa, there's only 2 types of tyres available for the M4. It was like street and some like street slicks or something like this. It's on the street slicks. And on BMG was just the standard tyres that the M4 came with, but there was kind of like a street slick as well. Not full race tyres. If you was to put full race tyres on BeamNG and Gran Turismo, Assetto Corsa would be way beyond. Like I said, no traction control and only 2 types of tyres to choose from. On BeamNG, I upgraded the brakes as well. The brakes that came on it as standard was overheating within like, I don't know, 2 minutes of driving the lap. So I upgraded the brakes. But I think only the calipers, maybe not. No, only the discs, not the brake pads. My original plan with putting me in the corner of the video as well was I hoped they would be right in line with each other, so as you was coming up to the corners and steering into the bends, you would wouldn't be able to tell which track I was driving or which game I was playing in the video. So then we would have to comment below which one you thought I was playing, but by this point it's pretty obvious. So going through the carousel, if I remember right, it was actually easier on Assetto Corsa, even though I did butcher it a little bit, because I did a couple of laps on each. I mean, Assetto Corsa, you run wide onto the grass, you know, the time goes red, so you know you made like a mistake where you went off track. BeamNG, you run off the track and hit a barrier, you've got to restart anyway. And Gran Turismo is just send it. And I must say, out of all 3 games, Gran Turismo probably feels the best, in my opinion, for racing. Not so much like just because of this car. I mean, just like all in all, I've played a lot of BeamNG, a lot of Gran Turismo now, and not so much Assetto Corsa, but I've tried a few different cars on Assetto Corsa. But definitely Gran Turismo and BeamNG are at the top. Well, BeamNG's a little bit more twitchy. I guess that could depend what you have your degrees set to on your wheel. I think mine's at like 450. But when you go over to Gran Turismo, I didn't find anywhere where you can set the degrees for the wheel. But full lock seems to be about the same anyway. It's like just over half a 10, but you never need that type of input. But Gran Turismo just has like more feel through the full range, whereas BeamNG, like the feeling is right there. As soon as you start to 10, you feel the grip, and then you feel your 10 past the grip where you start to understeer. Whereas Gran Turismo has a lot more feedback. But out of the PC games from BeamNG and Assetto Corsa, I do think BeamNG is more fun to drive. I've not done a lot with Assetto Corsa. I've only drove really a few street cars and like a few tuned cars. I haven't tried any like Group 3 track cars. So as we see on Gran Turismo, coming on to the final straight, let's see what type of top speed we reach down here, and we'll compare between all the cars. BeamNG is just getting onto the straight now, so you can see it's probably like a good maybe 10 seconds behind. So by the time we reach the gantry on top of the hill, we're looking at 168, 169, 170. for Gran Turismo, beamng, 169, 171. We're coming up close to the top of the hill. See, there's not much difference. 174, 4 mph difference. You could have had a better drive out the corner. You know, could just be a thing with a mod. And for Assetto Corsa, we're at 162. So Gran Turismo has just finished in 734.3. I believe that says. beamng just finished in 747.1. And then Assetto Corsa's across the line in 8 minutes and 2 seconds. At the end, we can't really say that Gran Turismo won, even though it did. beamng second, Assetto Corsa in third. Because it's not a true test. It's just as best as we can do it. But that will be the end of the video. For anybody that made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all the good stuff. Follow the socials. Until next time, bye!